We're live once again. Well, I did a video recently of Steven Crowder being a total jackass, smearing Martin Luther King with all kinds of accusations. But I focus on his his old school right wing obsession that somehow Martin Luther King was more radical than he presented himself, which isn't problematic. But anyway. But it's all about accusations, accusing people of things that they're not. Well, Shoe0nHead, if you don't know who she is, I suspect most people in my audience know who Shoe0nHead is. June Lapine. She's a young left wing streamer, mostly on YouTube. And I saw a tweet. And I'm not sure if it's a cruel joke, but as you can see right here in this tweet, and I put it on Facebook too because I was kind of livid. She doesn't know who I am, but still, I don't like the way they attack her. And so somebody put up a tweet that says, "No, I'm anti-vax and pro-capital riots from the left." Now, I think that there are people that will probably sort of view her as, the same way that some people on the left will go and crap on Jimmy Dore or crap on Glenn Greenwald. And if you think outside the box sometimes, even if you have a mildly reactionary viewpoint on this issue or that issue, you tend to be smeared as being the worst of the other side, and that tends to take place way too much. Well, what happened basically is that's what they did that to Shoe. I mean, I am occasionally sometimes I'm pro Second Amendment, and I'm very passionate being a free speech absolutist. So I get a little bit of shit on me by some fellow lefties who I would say don't know any better, and I'm being charitable. Some of them are perplexed and don't put into context that I'm a little bit older, and therefore I come from another era, and it ends up being the hill that I die on. But as I said, as you can see here, well, I read it for you because, it's not more, visible enough like it needs to be. But the point is that they have been accusing Shoe0nHead for many years of being a right winger when she's not. And this goes back to the mid 2010s, around 2014. Neanderthal was talking about the rise of breadtube and its decline and all of that, and I want to talk about that another time. But Shoe0nHead was one of the early breadtubers that were coming around with kind of like anti-SJW sentiment, and the Amazing Atheist, also known for that. And there are others out there. I would include Kyle Kalinske, for example, as one of those bread tubers. They're known to kind of talk in a very politically incorrect sort of way. The term that's being used a lot these days are dirtbag leftists. Then it's been a split on the Bernie Sanders left in the last few years, and it's been divided between the boutique left and the dirtbag left. And the boutique left are your TYTs, your David Packmans, your Sam Cedars, your Nomiki Konts, these folks out there, the Rational National with David Dole, people like Michael Figueredo of the Humanist Report, which I'm okay with Michael Figueredo as a general rule. I'm not even like a offended by Sam Cedar. I mean, I agree with Sam Cedar more times than I don't. In fact, I'm looking forward to seeing Sam Cedar and Jackson Hinkle debate next week. But the thing about it is that the dirtbag left, according to Reddit. I read an article on it. Reddit include people like Kyle Kalinske and people like Crystal Ball, and Shoe0nHead, Jimmy Dore, Chapo Trap House, and it even included Kim Iverson, which I don't know where she's headed right this second. I'm kind of observing from a distance to see what the hell happened with Kim Iverson. But anyway, suffice to say that the dirtbag left they don't go into identity politics quite to the level that you will see the boutique left. They don't go and they're a little more they focus more on being focused on crude humor and maybe super offensive humor, but it has left wing aims, and the intent is to try to build a bigger movement and try to get reactionaries to stop being reactionary. And I think it's a very good strategy. People like Shoe0nHead and people like Kyle Kalinske have been kind of well known to basically convert people away from right wing thought and bring them back toward a better direction, which would be the left. And dirtbag left are usually the post Bernie bros out there trying to fight the good fight. We just have a different name these days. And so that's what it comes down to. I'm being long winded as usual. I am so sorry. But one of the reasons I think that stupid meme about Shoe0nHead being supposedly anti-vax and supposedly supporting the Capitol riots is, and they have done this with some other folks on the left too, and it's not really fair when they do this because do I think that the people myself, do I think that the people that were involved with the Capitol riot are they worse? I mean, are people like that worse than Dick Cheney and his daughter Liz Cheney, who are bloodthirsty murderers from 2 decades back with the Bush Cheney doctrine that basically is responsible for the murder of 1 million people in Iraq and 271,000 people in Afghanistan? No, objectively, the rioters on January 6th, they may be pieces of shit and with a botched up effort to try to overthrow the government. Woo! But no, they objectively, since they didn't kill hundreds of thousands of people or even kill anybody for that matter, no, the Bushes, the Cheneys, all those people are actually worse. Even though they are kind of attracted to the idea of preserving domestic civil society. What I would call gracious losers, kind of, which was not the case with the Trump supporters with the rally that took place on January 6th. But anyway, I'm going to play you a piece of this video that will kind of go a little further into explanation of why I think some people calling Shoe0nHead a January 6th sympathizer, which is absolutely just wrong. So give me a moment here, and we will get started. There we go. Sorry about that. Let's get started right now.
Wondering how I ended up in this situation.
Hey there, no, lady. Too far back, fast forward. Oh God, wait, too far. We went too far. You're not supposed to see this. Rewind. There we go. Over the summer, during my first episode of my series Hell World, I briefly touched upon the subject of Donald Trump planning to make burning the American flag illegal.
And you know, we ought to do something, Mr. Senators. We have two great senators. We ought to come up with legislation that if you burn the American flag, you go to jail for 1 year.
I could go off about flag burning forever. Would you guys like to see an entire video dedicated to me ranting about flag burning? And I wrote type ye if you wanted to see a video about it. Needless to say, thousands of you typed ye. So I planned on making just a normal, regular video on the topic of flag burning. But at the last second, and I mean the last second, I had the brilliant idea to attend a Trump rally. And not just any Trump rally. That Trump rally. In order to get real patriots' opinions on this subject. Now this video is very goofy and silly, in stark contrast to what happened 10 minutes after we left the rally. So this video has nothing to do with that. You're gonna have to wait for my next Hell World episode, where I go into more detail about my opinions on what happened at the Capitol and the aftermath and all that stuff. So if you want to see that, subscribe, click the notification bell, because apparently now you have to click 2 things. Very cool website, not at all broken and useless. So since this was super spontaneous and I have no friends, I sent out a bat signal on my Discord server. Do any of you live in DC? I need a camera person. And that is when she responded. Why the hell is CNN on my TV? Oh, she's here. Tooth, hey! Hey! Hey!
Hi, I'm Shoe's apprentice, second in command, aka assistant regional manager.
Oh, way down south in the land of traitors, rattlesnakes, and alligators.
I'm a radical socialist communist. About as far left as you can go.
Pose, photo shoot.
Roger.
The only way it could be more left is if I was left-handed, but unfortunately that is not true because I'm normal.
So we're gonna
What
be...
the fuck?
What?
How much did this cost a night?
The stimulus check? About that much. What? Why are you grabbing the phone? Tooth! Wait, no! Now, I am not a Trump supporter. I did not support him, and I did not vote for him, but I did think he was, like, cool in 2016. I didn't take him very seriously, and I for sure did not take people's criticisms of him seriously. I thought he was, like, this anti-establishment outsider who was gonna, like, take on the swamp. I quickly found out, of course, that that was not the case, as his administration just spiraled further and further into insanity. He surrounded himself with neocons. He did a bunch of weird shit like the trans military ban. He broke some fucking nuclear deals. He even went so far as to break Obama's drone strike high score, which I honestly thought was impossible to do. Also, he did all of this like last minute, literally as he was like walking out the door. Pretty fucked up. In the end, it turned out there was no 4D chess. The president was just retarded. But despite all of that, despite my hatred for the president, unlike my Zoomer comrade who did not want to be there, I was very excited to go to this rally. I was very excited to be around people who disagree with me politically. Because you see, I am not like other liberals. I'm a cool liberal. I'm very open-minded and tolerant of those who disagree with me. And that is the real reason for me going to this rally. To break out of that echo chamber I have found myself in. To fully embrace the free marketplace of ideas. To hear different perspectives and beliefs. To really challenge myself.
I think Shoe0nHead has ulterior motives for going to this Trump rally.
You ready?
Yep.
Well, okay. Thing about it is, if you want to watch the rest of that video, you can. And I will put it in the description box below after the streaming is over. And that's a promise. It takes me a few minutes when I do that, but suffice to say, thing about it is that I understand Shoe. I don't know her personally, It'd be neat if I'd love to take her out to dinner and have a few drinks with her one of these days. She's very, she's well. I'm an old man, so I mean, I'll be upfront. If I was in my 30s or in my 20s or 30s, I would be very, very interested in her. So we'll just leave it at that. I mean, she is gorgeous, and yeah, anyway, I am a simp. I admit I am. But needless to say, no, I totally understand her because I too, when Donald Trump was elected, didn't take him seriously. I thought he was an ass clown. I mean, and the tweets made me laugh, and even when I was angry over policy. And I mean, the thing about it, the difference between Trump and another Republican president, it's like usually a George Herbert Walker Bush or Ronald Reagan or George W. Bush or what have you, any given Republican or even a future Republican. Think of Mitt Romney's demeanor. Someone like that, somebody who will be have a serious demeanor when they do really fucked up things that Republicans are known to do, and Democrats do fucked up things too. They just do fucked up things in slightly different ways. But the thing about it is, and in a lot of ways, Democrats and Republicans do fucked up things in very similar ways too. But the areas where I generally do find Republicans view them in a negative light, to appeal to his base, he'll go and amplify it. And while I would be mad under any other Republican doing this, it was almost humorous when Trump was doing it because he was such a nitwit on how he did everything. He was such a goofball, an attention whore, if you will. And so it was just kind of like, I'm angry, but I'm like laughing, and then I'm angry again. So I understand where she's coming from. He was kind of hard to take seriously at that time, and the Capitol riots kind of scared the shit out of me. Now again, I think that people like Marjorie Taylor Greene and Lauren Boebert and some of these clowns, people like Paul Gosar and Louis Gohmert and all these folks that were kind of involved in Congress should have their asses kicked out of Congress. But people like the QAnon shaman, as stupid as he is, no, I don't think that serving several years in prison was appropriate. At best, maybe some community service or even maybe a stiff fine, but that would have been the extent of it. But the thing about it is that going out to that rally before and having no idea that what was about to happen happened 10 minutes later after they left doesn't mean that Shoe0nHead supported these motherfuckers at the rally. And actually, and to tell you the truth, not everybody at the rally were involved with the insurrection. And the name and basically she went there to question how they felt about flag burning. And even amongst these Trump sycophants out there, there was a diversity of disagreements, of viewpoints. Some people you would expect, yeah, put them in jail. If you go burn the flag, put them in jail, or take them out of the country, or hang them. They were saying stuff like that. But there were some people out there that had more of a libertarian point of view, and and they were like, it would offend me when I see it. I would judge them, but it is their right, the constitutional right, and so. Again, there is a nuance with these things. Almond Bundy, one of the ranchers out in the Northwest that took over a federal building several years ago. I had no respect for the man at the time and everything, and recently he came out in solidarity with Black Lives Matter and Antifa because he knows how fucked up the government is. In some ways, I would argue that he might have actually been more consistent than someone like myself all along, being maybe more of a radical libertarian type who's suspicious of all forms of government. And I share some libertarian sentiment too. I like how Shoe0nHead would describe her libertarianism. She believes that the government should give everybody Medicare for all, otherwise the government should fuck off, or socially libertarian or something. And that's kind of where I am at, A huge welfare state, give us all the free stuff, but government don't sit there and bully people around. Yes, you can have that balance. It can be done. But anyhow, as I said, all this demonization against some by Shoe0nHead, and they are purposely seeking her out. She does not support censorship, but boutique fake lefties like Nomiki Kuntz support censorship. Or people like Emma Vigeland support censorship. But Shoe0nHead is a free speech absolutist. Crystal Ball is a free speech absolutist. I'm just giving you an example of where you will find those who are the true believers and those who are just part of the establishment. And part of the establishment is being part of the authoritarian center. I have said this many times that I oppose the authoritarian left when there are people on the left being authoritarian. I oppose people on the right when they're being authoritarian, known as the authoritarian right. But I also oppose the authoritarian center as viewed by people like the Bushes, the Obamas, the Clintons. I would include definitely Michael Bloomberg into that mix. I would include people, just your generic liberal conservative divide where they're basically part of the 1% that they may have disagreements over. Well, I'm pro-life. No, I'm pro-choice. I support gay marriage. I oppose gay marriage. I support trans right in the restroom. I oppose trans right. I oppose gun control. I support gun control. I don't want government involved with healthcare. I support Obamacare. All these, they may have agreements and disagreements, but these silly people, they're part of the 1%, and they have more in common with each other than people at the Trump rallies on January 6th, or Bernie Bros out there 2 years ago filling up stadiums and venues, or just average people out there from all walks of life. And I argue from a leftist point of view and a leftist standpoint, and I do so without apology. But we all have more in common with each other than the people on the top. And the problem with our society from across the spectrum, across our red, blue, dog and pony show of trying to own one side or the other, we all end up punching down when we should end up punching up. And that is the 1%. And I'm glad someone like Shoe can sit there and when I hear how she has deconverted people away from reactionary right-wing thought, isn't that what it should mean to be a leftist, to the power of persuasion? Shouldn't it be what that's about? We need more, if you want to call her a dirtbag leftist, by all means, we need more dirtbag leftists around. We do. We don't need a bunch of folks who are going to be gatekeepers for the status quo. Whether we're talking about, your generic Democrats out there who basically are playing, who are basically play patty cakes with the Republicans in Congress, or even so-called progressives who are gatekeepers for corporate Democrats, who ends up being gatekeepers for Republicans. Think about it for a second. Be radical and be obstinate about it. Just be obnoxious about it. Because sitting there saying pretty please to society is not going to get you where we need to be. So, I am glad. I would like to think that when she went out there over a year ago to that rally, the rally, January 6th, I'd like to think that maybe some minds might have been changed. I wouldn't be surprised. So, they want to go and attack Shoe0nHead. Some people, some of the shit libs want to attack Shoe0nHead. Go ahead, do it. But you're all stupid for doing so. She's cool. My only complaint about Shoe0nHead is that I wish she could do more videos. I would like to see her commentary. So anyway, let me just conclude by saying, hit I had a glitch. I'm sorry. I'm sorry about that. Had a glitch. But anyway, as I said, if you just hit that like button, comment, create your own platform because we're muckrakers of our time. Subscribe to this channel, and remember, until next time, free Julian Assange. Free Julian Assange. Keep the red flag and banner flying, and have a great day.